Kyle, you'll be voting tonight for Richard Russman, who is still coming in from the airport. So he wasn't planning to be here before 7:30 anyway, so I don't think he'll make it tonight. Pete Broderick, member, Robin Carter's administrative assistant, Peter Coffin, chair, Megan Kelly, vice chair, and Shaw Tilton. We welcome you to the meeting today,
thank you.
And glad you could make it. Sorry for the circumstances that led up to that, being part of it. And Mike Ruhovich wasn't going to be here because of the, he had some other issues to work with, so he begged off. But we have a full board, and the first thing to order of business is the fact that the Summit Distributing LLC and Kings Crossing have requested a continuation in order to give them more time to look at the peer review reports. The applicants, obviously that's for the special exception to allow retail motor fuel outlet at 249 New Hampshire Route 125. And that special request we did confirm because this would take us past the 90-day requirement, which would end on the 18th of July, that because they've requested this, they've waived the 90-day decision requirement. So, which of course makes sense. So we need to take a vote, to have a motion and take a vote to continue the Summit hearing to June 6th, sorry, how about August 10th at 10?
At 7 o'clock.
At 7 p.m. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a motion if you want.
Okay.
I have it written down here if you want. Yeah, but okay. Motion to continue the meeting, continue to this meeting, I'm sorry.
Hearing, yeah.
Yeah. On August 10th at 7 p.m. to discuss and determine, so I'm making it so you can write it. I'm looking at you writing, I'm making sure we get it right here. You know, to discuss and determine, yeah, what conditions, if any, must be met by Summit Distributing LLC, Kingston Crossing Incorporated, in order to comply with Article 109.7A of the Town of Kingston ordinances. I think that covers it, all right. So we're going to be here the 10th to discuss what 109 is.
Right. So I just am curious, do we have a discussion?
Yeah, we need a second.
We need a second first, and then we can discuss.
Second. Okay, now we discuss.
Okay, Megan seconded that.
Yeah. So personally, I'm just curious. For me, I know I have a conflict that I will have to do something about on the 10th.
Okay.
I'm wondering if we can, as a committee, can say, could we propose doing September instead, if we're already asking that? And I'm not sure what the legality is on that.
I don't think that they requested the continuance to the next regular scheduled hearing.
Right.
And we basically that's all we can do because they haven't given permission to extend beyond that. Mm-hmm. So if we did that, we would be running afoul of the requirements from the RSAs. So
sure.
I think we need to continue to the time and date certain, which is our next.
2 meetings ago, I was in Florida when he called that sort of semi-emergency, I'm going to call it. Right. I was in Florida.
Right,
you know?
Right.
Yeah. So, so we are lucky that we have at least 2 openings that have been sitting in on this case.
Right. No, I understand that. I just didn't know if we had the ability, if they've already requested it, if we could then say, yeah, sure.
Basically,
they're the ones with the power, essentially, based on the RSA.
No.
They have, it has, the way the wording is that it's got to be to a mutually agreeable time. And since they specifically asked for the next scheduled meeting,
sure,
and we agreed to that, basically, they said that I would we would vote on that tonight, and so we can't really change that because we would have to agree with them mutually on a different date. And that would, we'd still have to move it to August 10th, and then we'd have to request them. And so, and quite frankly, you know, it's, I don't think this is something we want to drag out.
No, I'm just,
Yeah.
I just asking the questions and seeing what the options are.
I think we're under a lot of scrutiny, and
Yeah, I think we are too, so.
Any unexplained delays would not be fair.
No, that's what I was asking, just to do it up board and have a discussion about it, not to try to do something, yeah. So that's fine, thank you.
So we have a motion and a second from Megan, and any other discussion on it? All right, take a vote. All those in favor of continuing the hearing to August 10th at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? We have unanimous. You
want a motion on the meeting, on the minutes?
And yes, we, let's see, that's the next item is the minutes for June 1st. And Peter, since you had most of the...
Well, I've already given, I think we all have given it the changes, so.
Okay.
I mean, they were just typos,
Right.
Nothing of significance, so.
Okay, so you
I'm gonna make a motion to accept.
Previously noted.
So,
Just make a motion to accept the
as
minutes.
amended.
Okay.
As amended, yes. Okay. Did you do that?
Yeah, I did, I'm sorry.
Did you second that?
I was
Okay, making some second.
Just because, so that people won't think there's some shenanigans going on. I noticed that there was a C1, it should have been C2, and there's a typo error where it said truthfulness instead of truthfulness, and there were a couple of misspellings of
a name.
well, you're right, a name.
Distribution.
But there was no substance, I'm gonna say, changes.
Right.
So just, so, yeah, we did it before because they were just typo errors, so.
So that covers the amendments.
Yeah, that's why we, as amended.
As amended, as stated, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
well, so just, I wanna just clarify whether if a member was not present at the meeting, are they a voting member on the minutes as presenting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are, and you can vote on the minutes if you read them.
Well,
Yeah.
Usually, I'm sorry, Peter,
Yeah.
but where you weren't here, what I do is I abstain, because I wasn't here to
I
hear.
wasn't here on June 8th, I will be abstaining.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
just, you know, I mean, it's,
You can abstain if you want. When we've had the training in the past, one of the things the attorney makes a point of saying is that members shouldn't abstain on votes. It's basically it's a non-vote. It seems to make sense to me that if I wasn't there, why would I vote on the minutes? But you can vote to accept the minutes. You are accepting the minutes as amended or whatever. You don't have to have been there.
you don't have to, but because I wasn't here, I wouldn't necessarily know
Right.
if the minutes are correct.
Right.
So I just say, I'm gonna cover myself and say, I abstain.
Okay, so it's your choice.
But you can vote on it, of course.
So I will abstain.
You can change that to 4, 0, and 1 abstention. I think, so. Okay.
So you've got 3 yeses? Abstain?
No, she didn't. She was here.
Okay, I wanted to mention, okay, I just wasn't sure.
Yeah. Okay, the next item on here is we've got a couple of invoices from Dana Trustlaw. One came in about the time of the Summit, sorry, not Summit, the Unitil hearing. And we didn't have it met since then, so, but it's been 30 days, so. This was for the services that she did on the Unitil project, doing all the reviewing the application for repeal map utilities, new aquifer protected zone, communication with RCCD and Unitil, and follow up with phone calls and emails, prepare the evaluation and all that stuff, and all the recommendations. that we went through it quite great length. And the balance due was $32,74.80, and the fund was for $3,300. So, which is basically what you her estimate, 30. So, if we want to vote to pay that, I will sign it. So, all those in favor of paying the Trustlo invoice?
We need a motion?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, make a motion to pay that fund.
You were selected, you probably have no procedure, but
Yeah, no, I mean, no, I'm just trying to think, we need everything we do, we need a motion and a second and discussion.
Yes, question, motion,
Yeah, make a motion to pay the invoice.
okay, second
Second.
from Shaw. Any discussion? You pass this around if you want, just to see what the.
Do you want the amount in there?
The amount is the amount would be $3,274.80 from the previously established escrow account for Unitil, and probably want to make a motion second after this to pay the remainder out to Unitil.
Unreimbursed,
unused funds, which is about $25.20.
Okay. So we have to vote on.
So let's vote on the first one. Any discussion on the payment invoice? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
So I'll make a motion to return any excess funds to Unitil.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, and all those, any discussion? So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, so,
Do you want to add to that, Peter, pay the remainder from the escrow account? Or is it just the remainder, okay?
yeah, the remainder of the escrow
From the
account.
escrow account.
Yeah, that's,
Friendly amendment.
and,
Well, just to clarify.
Yeah, no, I get it.
okay. And then we have another one, which is the evaluation of Summit, which she's produced. And this is called a progress invoice, but it's an invoice due August 11th, so we probably should vote on that tonight. And this comes out to $2,271.20. The understanding would be that if this were to end up requiring the applicant to do a hydrogeologic survey, that they would have to.
Well, would it be better if we waited on that to see what the final product is and then dealt with it then? I mean, we don't know if maybe, because we haven't heard testimony, I'm just concerned that they'll add something or something and be a little more money and we, I suppose we can make a motion to pay that amount.
We pay this amount and then.
Right.
And then keep the others in case.
Later,
Yeah.
so that would be my recommendation.
Oh, yeah, that's
A motion to pay the
I will make a motion to pay the Trustlo
invoice of July 20th.
currently in hand.
currently in hand
There we
for
go.
$2,271.20.
Okay, need a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Pete. Any discussion on that? I don't know, discussion we just had. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, hearing none.
And we have not gotten a bill yet is there another one?
Yeah, there's the couple of them. There's Robert Duval for the traffic study, and that's going to be a little bit more expensive. And then I don't know what Tim's come up with. But that won't be as much.
How much did we ask them to put in the escrow account?
10,000?
10,000.
So, we're not,
We're good so far.
okay. We send these to you. And go to Paula. And let's see. Do we have anything else other than the, what's that? Oh, that's right, we're doing minutes for June 8th also. Got it. All right, thank you. June 8th, this is on Unitil. And this was quite a long one, and it's been a while since they were written. But I believe that when I went through them and sent them out, I didn't see anything that was there that I picked up. But anybody pick up any typos or? Yeah, I think when we were in the kitchen, we found one that was just on the phone that was found it out. So, all right, we need a motion to accept the minutes of June 8th, 2023 as submitted.
Come on, Megan.
I wasn't here, so I don't.
Oh,
motion,
okay,
sorry.
I'm sorry, all right.
Actually, you know what?
I don't mind
I'll make
doing
the
it though,
motion.
Peter.
I'll make the motion to.
There
You just want the power, so you just want that power.
I don't care, I'm just going by all the years that I've been.
Somebody's gotta do
It
it.
is, the chairs don't make the motions,
I
but,
figured
no,
the
it really
more
doesn't
motions
matter.
that are easy like this to make, the easier the harder ones come.
Yeah, because I'll make the motion that we accept the minutes as written for June 8th, 2023. Get a second?
I'll second.
And Kyle,
Wait,
second. Kyle's seconded. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? And any abstentions? We got 2 abstentions, Shaw and Megan. So we had a quorum, we have 3 votes to pass it, so it does pass. Okay, so the biggies are done. Unitil, we had, I have correspondence is what comes up next. And, let's see.
Is that the correspondence you just sent out, like 45 minutes ago or an hour ago?
Yeah, let me take a look at,
Is that the one from Pam?
It does include Pam, it includes
I think Pam said
Yeah, it
that,
is.
going to the selectmen.
Board of Selectmen as well.
yeah, she said, well, Dan Akers sent us something, but, to the ZBA and Susan here, and I will read that. It's, just for clarity. To Kingston Select Board and ZBA, Ray Unitil utility line herbicides comments and information request. As a follow-up to the Monday, July 10th Select Board meeting, I understood that Unitil has provided new information to Peter Coffin and that the ZBA that they will now comply with the 25-gallon herbicide threshold of the aquifer protection zone. But the Select Board had no details yet on the new plan. As we discussed, although I don't like it, I would agree that the Select Board's enforcement hands are tied if the total amount of herbicide mixture sprayed in the aquifer by Unitil and its contractors is 25 gallons or less. However, if by sleight of hand or whatever one would like to call it, more than 25 gallons will be sprayed in the aquifer, but it's counted as only 25 gallons, I would argue that this violates the spirit of the Aquifer Protection Ordinance, the actual wording of the ordinance, the Select Board's own decision, and the ZBA's denial of appeal of that decision after 2 meetings with the benefit of an expert and all the facts. At the May 11th ZBA hearing, Unitil stated that the herbicide mixture is sprayed from 2.5 gallon backpack, each tankful of which covers approximately an acre or 500 feet of linear power line. Quick math, not discussed, mine. would indicate 10 tankfuls would equal the 25-gallon limit and would cover about 5,000 feet or a mile. Say 5 miles of power line in the aquifer would be 125 gallons. At the June 8th CBA meeting, the expert noted that 2,400 feet of the 24,000 feet of the 31,000 of power line are in the aquifer. One of the board members tried to claim that less than 25 gallons is going to be used. Unitil noted that 100 gallons was used in the previous application and gave a very small percentage of the chemicals included. And the same board member proposed that the full amount of mixture sprayed should not be counted, only the volume of the chemical itself, which was far less than 25 gallons. The board discussed the mixture language of the ordinance, definition of hazardous materials, and denied the appeal when the select board decision was correct given the facts. Information request. Could I please get a copy of whatever information is being presented, describing how the spraying will now be less than the 25-gallon threshold? Is this also happening with the New Hampshire Electric Cooperative? We don't know about that one. That was similarly was denied by the select board. Now, I'd like to review it, and this is not urgent, as it's not being used at this time. Any of the information referenced by Peter Coughlin and Ben Coughlin regarding the legal opinions regarding Kingston's Aquifer Protection Ordinance versus New Hampshire state law. I'm not trying to create a paperwork burden, but I'd be more than willing to review docs in the town hall at your convenience. Thank you, and best regards. The select board will be handling this because all these requests are things that came before the select board after we closed our hearing. And I will address the last item first, which is that Susan requested, at my request, that an attorney be contacted, and she ended up with an NHMA attorney regarding the legality of what we discussed our decision at the hearing. The attorney's opinion is considered privileged information, and the select board discussed that in non-public session, so I'm not going to discuss it here. But I'm thinking their response regarding the attorney's opinion, it's their discretion that they would probably not provide that. We have no response to the board about the New Hampshire Electric Cooperative. That never came to us. And the information about the spraying, what happened was after our meeting, several things happened. One, we voted to deny based on the fact that the select board had not made an error in their opinion. We had discussed at the meeting the opportunity for them to expedite an appeal or a special, what we had thought was a special exception. And I said, if we made a mistake in directing you to do the appeal of the administrative decision, then we would make sure that you got the special exception pushed quickly forward. However, we discovered afterwards that, in fact, that was their decision to do an appeal of an administrative decision. It was not a bad decision. It was probably their easiest choice, was to try to appeal it based on either the 25-gallon rule, which unfortunately they were never able at the meetings, in spite of being asked a number of times, to come up with some numbers, or their agricultural uses. They didn't qualify under agricultural uses, which was number 10, I think. So we denied it. That was correct. Their next procedure would be what we had thought was based on what Dan Ackers had told us from reading the thing, which would be a special exception. In fact, special exceptions are only applied to certain of the categories, and the ones that they were applying for, it didn't qualify under the 25-gallon. You can't apply for a special exception for that. So that was a discussion with Glenn Greenwood the following day, and he pointed it out. I looked at the rules, and yes, in fact, we sent out an email to Christopher Moulton saying that you would have to we'd have to apply for variance and not a special exception. No big deal, except that it would be just a different type of application. However, after discussing it with Dana and things, Chris Moulton and Dan discussing it, Chris came to the conclusion that because they were not able to isolate the amount of gallons of product used, except by the total amount in Plastow, all of Kingston, including the aquifer protection zone, and they weren't able to too hard for them to figure out how many gallons were actually used just in the aquifer protection zone, minus the properties that were being excluded because people had refused to give permission, minus, the certain open areas, wetlands, well radiuses, and all that kind of stuff. Unitil decided that they would just comply with the ordinance and tell their contractor to stop applying herbicide at 25 gallons. They apply a maximum of 25 gallons. And if that didn't cover it, they would just stop applying it and not do the rest. I confirmed with Chris Moulton that they were not going to, at the select board's request, that they were not going to appeal or the decision or file a request for variance, because he said that, and this is a letter to the select board, as I'm writing to inform you that Unitil and our qualified contractor will be conducting our integrated vegetation management program under some transmission lines in parts of your city. Unitil intends to selectively apply undesirable vegetation growing within the electric rights of way. Unitil will be spraying 25 gallons or less of chemical concentrate within the aquifer protection zone. And
excuse me, Peter, could you say that, because that's what's been sticking in my mind. You just said 25 gallons of liquid or concentrate. Could you say that again?
Of chemical concentrate within the aquifer.
Okay, see, I'll finish that up and I'll tell you why my mind is going.
And I think that is because water is not a hazardous material. So you can't count, you can say that, the commercial product, and it comes ready by, they dilute it for ease of application. It's only the amount of, and there's an argument coming from Pam's that it should be, it includes a mixture. Well, a mixture of chemicals, it's a mixture of the hazardous chemicals, and the identified hazardous chemicals were all in Dana's report. The fact that you're going to add water to it, you can't count the water that you're putting in there.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
See, they're saying 25 gallons of the material.
The chemicals.
But what's the solution rate? Is it 10 to 1, 21, 31? You don't know. So that the 25 gallons could make whatever number of spray.
Yeah.
So that they go out and say, well, we can only spray
25 gallons.
25 gallons. Is it 25 gallons of the concentrate? Or, okay, so they possibly could do the whole thing. Depending on the solution mix.
They might be able to.
Yeah, that was sticking in my cross. Like,
right.
What are they talking about?
Especially if you're only selectively spraying, they're not blanket spraying.
No, I understand. I can just see people saying, hey, you know what, 25 gallons, but I saw them going from Route 125 to,
right.
Well,
so to give you
yes, but the concentrate is only 25 gallons.
So to give you an idea, I do farm. We use some things in small quantities.
Right,
and
right.
usually it's like 4 ounces for a 125 gallon tank.
Yeah, I
So
mean, it'll say what your ratio is,
Right.
It's like.
I mean, we buy a gallon and
Is it a 10 to 1 ratio or 20 to 1 ratio?
Right. So
I thought he said that most of the solution is water. That
It is.
not the
Yeah,
he
I
said
think
that.
it's
I'm trying to
4%.
think if he said the ratio or not. He said most of it is water.
Right, typically you dilute it down to, I mean, like I
You said,
said,
like,
it's usually like
significantly.
anywhere from 4, depending on how big the plant is, the taller the plant, the highly concentrated you want it. But we typically spray anywhere from 4 to 6 ounces of the concentrate in I think it's like 125 gallon tank.
Yeah.
So.
No, it was just interesting to me because,
Yeah.
and they mean 25 of the concentrate or 25 of the mixture, you know,
Yeah.
and a heck of a difference.
And
I don't know
I
if
think.
it's specifically said, I don't remember what exactly.
It's out of our hands anyway, you know, it's a state now.
Exactly, and as long as they are gonna state that they were gonna only apply no more than 25 gallons of the hazardous material, you know, of the herbicide. And I think, you know, that like the one that people were most concerned about, what was it? Rodeo, yeah. It was only 4% of the mixture, but sometimes they had other things in there, you know, different herbicides, but the total amount of the herbicides that they get, you know, in the 1 gallon plastic jugs that they use to mix into their tanks, they'd be limited in that. And that is back to the select board decision now, because we have told them the select board didn't make a mistake. The select board has written a letter saying, that if you're gonna only if you're using 25 gallons or less, they will reverse their decision. So, and so they've done that.
Well, that's the Board of Selectmen.
And that's their prerogative, and it has nothing to do with us. We reached a conclusion, we made a decision, and Unitil has elected not to file for variance. So.
I mean, it is good to have all this clarified though, so
It is.
If the co-op or someone else comes and says, we now have to do some things like
And
this.
it also gives the select board the guidance of
To give them options before they dump it.
the fact that we have the electronic version of the aquifer protection zone now online, it's out on the planning board's website. It means that any utility can get those files and transpose them onto their shape files onto their devices and be able to accurately map the aquifer protection zones.
Something just entered my mind here. I'm sorry, we
No,
don't.
go ahead, that was it.
No, that was it, okay.
And so, you know, they're able to tell people, okay, you know, this is an aquifer protection zone ordinance, and here's the zones, and here's the chemical limits there.
Just something that entered my mind, I was looking at my motion here. Am I correct, there will not be a notice to the people that this is the notice?
No, the notice was.
Well, in other words, there won't be any mailed out. We
Oh.
didn't do that, yeah.
No, we don't mail out notices of select board decisions.
No, I'm talking about, I'm sorry, the motion to move this to the 10th. To move the meeting from Summit to the 10th. All right. We always say,
Say
that this is the notice, right? And we didn't say that this time,
okay,
so
yeah.
you might want to say that, Peter.
So go back to the Summit continuation. If you're watching this, there will be no further notice, and people who are here have been notified of that, but there'll be no further mailings.
Right.
It's a continuation, not a new hearing.
Does everybody understand why I'm saying that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want that
We
note,
don't
that's
want
not
people
part of the
to say from quarter to quarter wasn't
No,
noticed.
it's
Yeah,
usually,
that's usually is after the motion, just say, you usually tell.
but it's funny to say it when there's no one here.
Yeah, they worked out pretty quickly. It said, you know, you won't receive further notice, but.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion that we go back to the Summit. Okay, and then I'm gonna say that, so that, I just wanna be legally correct.
What do you mean, go back to the continuation?
Well, can we now say it, even though we have finished with the Summit discussion?
Well, there was no discussion, it was, no.
Okay, all right,
The answer is-
I can just see someone saying, I wasn't noticed, and you had the meeting, and,
We continued it, and.
okay, so what I just said is appropriate.
Yes.
Okay,
And
that's all right.
and that's just a general announcement you make as a courtesy to people, and
Okay.
it doesn't have to be part of a motion or anything else.
All right.
The motion is to continue to a time and place certain, and.
And
and
people
we
will
did
not
that.
be noticed, this is the notice.
And, if this is just a public announcement that continuations don't require further, advertisement or, letters to abutters.
I mean, this is such a contentious issue, I just wanna make sure we're on solid
Yeah,
ground.
it's, legally, we've continued it, and,
Okay, no, we're good.
and so, and that, thank you for the reminder that, you know, for anybody who's still watching, that we don't,
Yeah, it's been an
So-
exciting discussion.
Yeah.
We hope you're still watching.
yeah. So was there any other communication to the board's correspondence? No.
Oh, we had Susan's, but that's for the board of selectmen, she said.
Oh, Pam Brown.
Oh, Pam.
Yeah, let me just,
Sunshine.
let's see if she's included us on it.
She did, but she said it was.
Well, that's one of the
Yeah,
I don't know
said
if
it
we
wasn't really meant for us.
we really wanna put our fingers into, our fingerprints on this. I don't
No,
think so.
and the fact that the person who, sent the correspondence is here and said it was directed.
Directed to you.
It was, she said it here by mistake. I think she CC'd us as opposed to, yeah, so there was a letter to the board of selectmen, so. Yeah, you're right.
Wait a minute, somebody write the date and time, and Peter said I was right on something.
So does that mean we need a motion to adjourn the meeting?
we don't really need it, we can adjourn without a motion.
No, the chairman can just say, meeting is
But
adjourned.
I wanted to, I usually will ask if there's
Any more business?
any other business to come before the board. Hearing none, the meeting is